It is Ahsoka Tano Thursday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This evening we could work with the latest iteration of very easy meditation. Let us begin with the first of four phases of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following way. 1, 2, 3, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8 and you have 96. How do we do that? Through sets. We can count sets on our left hand, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 12 inhalations each. 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 12 inhalations each. We keep track of this, the first phase, by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger. Oopsie, that's the left knuckle. Sorry, guys. By resting the great knuckle at the base of the right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in our bladder region of our lower abdomen. Yes, this is a trifle ungainly. But I would remind you that repetition is the mother of skill. Come to these live streams every 12 hours or so, and within a week or two, you could master the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Speaking of which, let us demystify enlightenment. What if enlightenment was nothing more than simply mastery of Gautama Buddha's Eightfold Path? But what do we mean by mastery? What if mastery meant simply getting so good at something that we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively? Not only is it possible to do that with the Buddha's Eightfold Path, but simply by prioritizing mindfulness and meditation, the seventh and eighth folds. The remaining sixth folds take care of themselves. Because of that, I think it could be very valuable, very useful, if we view mindfulness and meditation through the lens of neuroscience after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. So, let's get down to it. Please join me in chanting. The nudity of the octuple couple sporting and tantric union reminds us of the vulnerability so crucial to mindfulness. The nudity of the octuple couple sporting and tantric union reminds us of the vulnerability so crucial to mindfulness. The nudity of the take two. The nudity of the octuple couple sporting and tantric union reminds us of the vulnerability so crucial to mindfulness. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. What could that look like? Since the Neolithic Revolution, society has conditioned each of us to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, and competitive, and cruel. So much so that when merely 10% of Earth's population rebel against that and strive to be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind, the majority look down their noses upon them. So when these rigid and controlling people practice, no less teach meditation, they implore their students to actively focus and actively analyze. Now, the only neural pathways that are useful, that are helpful towards those two goals of focus and analysis, are those found in the medial and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. The problem is that when we overtrain this area, when we overtrain our prefrontal cortex, we trigger our amygdala, which is the seat of anxiety and aggression, which are pretty much the opposite things that most people want from meditation. Most people don't want more anxiety and aggression. They want more peace and more love. After all, that's probably why you're here, isn't it? But I've got some good news. Neither the prefrontal cortex nor the amygdala constitute the entirety of our central nervous system. Let us begin with the sympathetic nervous system. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to access the sympathetic nervous system found in the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. It has evolved to help us notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is the opposite of the rigidity of concentration. But what? What is it that we have evolved to notice? We have evolved to notice mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like. Such as emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. This is an awful lot to do all at the same time. Would you not agree? Could there be an easy way to do it? Yes. Silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. And mindfulness takes place during autopilot. Silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during your inhalation, and you will nudge your cerebral cortex into cooperating with your sympathetic nervous system. What is the most efficient way to practice meditation? Silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during your exhalation, that you might physically relax and mentally release, to the point that what we noticed during the previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less solid, less permanent, and even less defining. So right now, together as a team, let's meditate for a few minutes. And remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. Do not wait to the end. Rather, please strike while the iron is hot. Welcome, welcome to this evening's live stream. We begin, or you could begin with us, at the second of 4 phases of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 8, and you've got 96. So that's what we do with our left hand. We count sets of 12 inhalations each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 12 inhalations each. To keep track of our second phase, we rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap. Excuse me. Doing so gently invites our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Please chant with me. The translucence of the all-good father and mother depicted in paintings reminds us of meditation's experience of impermanence and non-graspability. Quick review. We've already learned that the essence of mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, and that doing so helps us to notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. But what are we to do with that which we notice? And to answer that, we explore the neuroscience of meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we automatically access our parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of our spinal cord. One moment. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. So as we mentally release that which we noticed during our previous inhalation, that which we noticed could begin to feel less graspable. It could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, any good English teacher will remind us that a simile is only as powerful as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand? So we've just demystified the idea of emptiness. So, as I mentioned previously, simply by practicing mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, we become deeply rooted in the perception that as we exhale, that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel literally impermanent and figuratively empty. So now let us practice what we've just considered. And let's do so for the next several minutes. We turn now to the third of 4 phases of mindful crease counting meditation. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply that by 8 and you have 96. That's what we do with our left hand. We count sets. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 8 inhalations each. 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of 8 inhalations. Of 12 inhalations each. This is our third phase. We keep track of that by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so gently invites our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the heart region of our chest. Please chant with me. The beauty of sky blue kuntu zongpo and cloud white kuntu zongmo yam yam reminds us of the highest love, spontaneous and uncontrived. If the essence of mindfulness was silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, and the essence of meditation could be practiced as easily as silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable FREEBIES during each exhalation, then what is the benefit we could experience? Oh, sure. We could recognize that we desire some things and dread other things, and we could release our resistance to the absence of what we desire, and we could also release our resistance to the presence of what we dread. As an extra added plus, we wind up calming the tyranny of our anxiety and aggression. They control our choices, utterance, and deeds less and less and less. Furthermore, by playing with mindfulness and meditation every 12 hours or so, we stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, this thing that looks like a fuchsia-colored sea. Or I should say that's depicted as looking like a fuchsia-colored sea. This is our... This functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, which is the root of compassion and love. How is this important? Well, you see, 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness. Kindness of intention, kindness of communication, kindness of conduct, and commerce, and that is as cooperative as it is kind. All this can be guided and directed and powered by our anterior cingulate gyrus. Together as a team, let us practice mindfulness and meditation right now. I am a trifle under the weather, so we're going to end this sooner rather than later. During the fourth and final phase of mindful crease counting, over the span of 12 breaths, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this. Well, on our left hand, let's put it to you this way. When we rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap, we gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the crown region of our head. The stability with which God bless Samantha sits, and the abandon with which Cloud White Samantha sports, reminds us of the effortless effort of centered spontaneity. Quick review. The easiest way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation. Doing so helps us to notice, in a manner, vulnerable, passive, visceral, random, and fleeting. Notice what? Notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. And on a larger order, to notice that we desire some things and dread other things, and this is our fundamental duality. Consequently, we tend to resist the absence of what we desire, as well as resist the presence of what we dread. The essence of meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation, thus helping us release that which we noticed during our previous inhalation, including, amongst other things, our resistance to the absence of that which we desire, as well as our resistance to the presence of that which we dread. So together as a team, let us enjoy one last brief meditation this evening. As Obi-Wan Kenobi said to young Luke Skywalker, you have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I've earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 1/4 hours, I would very much like to return to tomorrow's early morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.